The pesticide accident, our top story tonight.
State agricultural investigators say it was the worst case of pesticide poisoning of farm workers ever in our state.
77 people have been treated so far for exposure.
One after another, these farm workers fell ill. They all came here to the Ruskin Medical Center.
Within a half hour, this small clinic was overwhelmed.
The first wave of migrant workers from Goodson Farm hit the Ruskin Health Center about 12:30 this afternoon, complaining of nausea, cramps, and breathing problems.
In November of 1989, while we were having lunch one day, some people from the front office came running back to us to tell us that there were a bunch of farm workers that had just come into the clinic that apparently had been poisoned out in the fields by a pesticide. They weren't sure what it was, who, where, or what, but they were sick and they were all coming in. We mobilized ourselves in an emergency basis, set up intake, emergency triage, seeing who was the sickest, who was a little better, who needed immediate care, who could be put to the side, and we started evaluating and treating. A total of about 84 farm workers came to our clinic. And then we had a nurse who immediately looked them over and triaged them and sent them to one of the hallways depending on how sick they were. And in the meantime, their vital signs were taken by medical assistants. So we pretty much divided up the clinic. Business as usual ceased, and we geared up for taking care of these people that kept coming in waves of 10 or 11 for the afternoon.
Health officials at Ruskin, who have been testing those affected, say a report from California on phosgene poisoning shows that the pesticide does cause long-term health problems.
The initial 13 were the sickest, and they were the ones that ended up being the sickest with problems with their heart. They were having chest pains, irregular heartbeats, nausea, vomiting, severe abdominal pains, drooling, and so they were the ones that ended up being hospitalized for up to a week. These workers that were out there immediately got a real full burst of it on their clothes, on their skin, and in addition, they also were inhaling it, and they actually were munching on pieces of the cauliflower too, right in the field. Worst case scenario, they could have died. Nobody died, thank God for that. But like I said, 13 were in the hospital. Several of them were in there for up to a week.
Doctors say these farm workers shouldn't have been allowed to return to the field so quickly after spraying. Robert Vasquez says the need for money will require him to report for work in the morning. Dave Wagner, News Center 10.